Welcome to Cheat House. Truths. Before we dive into today's intense narrative, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring you even more captivating stories. Let's get started. I never thought I'd be telling this story. In fact, if someone had told me years ago that I would one day sit here, reflecting on the choices I made, I would have found it hard to believe. I was the type of woman who valued loyalty, commitment, and standing by the promises I made. I had built my life on those principles, firmly believing that love and trust were all a marriage needed to remain strong. But life has a way of slowly unraveling the things you hold dear, often without you even realizing it until everything has changed. I met Ethan when I was 23. He seemed to be everything I ever wanted, charming, intelligent, and exuding a quiet confidence that made me feel safe. We fell in love quickly, as young people tend to do, believing in fairy tales. I remember how he used to look at me in those early years, as if I was the only person in the world who mattered. It felt like we could conquer anything together. Our wedding was intimate but beautiful, surrounded by those we loved the most. We had so many dreams of traveling, building a home, creating a life full of laughter and joy. And for a while, that's exactly what we did. We moved into a cozy house, worked hard to secure our future, and eventually had 2 beautiful children. Life was busy and full, and from the outside, everything appeared perfect. But perfection is often just an illusion. At some point, things began to shift, almost imperceptibly at first. Ethan became more focused on his career, spending longer hours at the office, always chasing after the next promotion. I understood. After all, he wanted to provide the best for us. But as the years passed, I began to feel like just another part of the routine, like a piece of furniture in our home. Necessary, always there, but never truly seen. I tried talking to him, telling him how much I missed us, how I longed for the connection we once had. He would listen, nod, and promise that things would get better, but they never did. The conversations would fade, life would continue, and I'd find myself alone in the same empty place. I convinced myself this was normal, that after years of marriage, passion fades and routine takes over, that this was just how things were. But deep down, I felt something within me was slowly fading away. I had spent so much time being a wife and mother that I had forgotten who I was outside of those roles. Then I met Liam. It wasn't meant to mean anything. He was just a friend of a friend, someone I met at a community event. He was warm, easy to talk to, and had this way of making people feel comfortable. We exchanged polite small talk, nothing more. But looking back, I realized it was those small moments, those innocent conversations, that would change everything. Liam was different from Ethan in ways I didn't even know I needed. He was present. He listened, not out of obligation, but because he genuinely cared. He asked about my day, my thoughts, my dreams. He noticed when I changed my hairstyle, when I wore a new dress, when something was off. It had been so long since anyone had paid that kind of attention to me that I didn't know how to respond at first. I told myself it was just friendship, just enjoying a connection I had been missing. But over time, I found myself looking forward to our conversations a little too much. I'd smile when his name popped up on my phone. I'd linger longer than necessary when we talked, as if holding on to something I knew I shouldn't. Guilt followed me like a shadow. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Not really. But deep down, I knew that if I had to hide something from Ethan, maybe it wasn't as innocent as I wanted to believe. One evening, I sat in my car outside our house, my hands gripping the steering wheel. I had just spent over an hour talking to Liam, and my heart was still racing from the conversation. We had laughed, shared stories, and for the first time in ages, I felt like myself again. I took a deep breath and walked inside, trying to push the feeling away. "Hey," I said, forcing a smile. "Hey," he muttered, not even looking my way. "Dinner ready?" It was such a small question, but it hit me hard. In that moment, I realized just how far apart we had drifted. I wanted to tell him about my day. I wanted to sit beside him, to talk the way we used to. But I knew how the conversation would go. He'd nod distractedly, and I'd feel like I was talking to a wall. So instead, I just nodded and said, "Yeah, I'll warm it up." That night, as I lay beside him in bed. I stare at the ceiling, wide awake. I thought about Liam, the way he listened, the way he made me feel like I mattered, and for the first time, I let myself admit the truth. I was standing at a crossroads. One path led back to the life I knew, predictable, safe, but empty in ways I couldn't ignore. The other path was unknown, filled with risks and uncertainties. But it was also filled with something else, something I hadn't felt in years. I told myself I could stop, that I had control over it, that this was just a fleeting feeling, nothing more. But I was lying to myself. The next time I saw Liam, I didn't pull away when he reached for my hand. I didn't stop myself from leaning in when he spoke. And in that moment, everything changed. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you know. I truly appreciate every one of you for being part of this journey. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more incredible content.